The labyrinth swallowed all. Innocents were stranded, sinners drowned in the depths. The damned vanished there. The great power was lost to man, and Mother Earth turned her back to the New World. Only the cursed king on his throne in the abyss remembers that golden age. Welcome, friends, one and all, to the Etrian Recruiting Initiative. Have you wanted to be part of a mighty guild, to plumb the depths, discover all the mysteries the Yggdrasil Labyrinth has to offer? Well then, today, you will have that opportunity. Here's how this is going to work. I'm going to describe every class available in the first Etrian Odyssey game, complete with portraits, which I will letter, and a general role and their abilities. Those of you who have played the American version, some of the names of the classes may be a bit different from what you recall. I'm playing the European version because my eyes are garbage and I can read the font better. I'm not apologizing. You, dear friends, are hopefully going to claim a class, a portrait, and make a name for yourself. Give me a story. Why are you a part of this labyrinth? In a way, I want to make this a giant story with all of us as characters. I do have final choice on who is picked. I want a ghost chance of actually getting through this because, yes, we are playing the original DS Etrian Odyssey in all of its broken, buggy glory. Without further ado, let's get started. First off, we have the Landsknecht, Masters of Sword and Axe, able to use a wide range of weapons and armor in close combat. This is a class that tends to specialize one way or the other. This isn't to say generalization is impossible, but in some ways not recommended. Axe specializations are more suited for single-target damage, swords are more suited for multi-target regular encounters. Frankly, you'll likely see me swap their specialization as the situation calls for it. They also have some abilities that can link up very well with other party members, but their main use of those abilities is if something resists physical damage. Second, we have the Survivalist. Wise in the ways of the forest, their bow skills make them desirable allies. Survivalists are your standard archer class, or perhaps not so standard. They have a lot of utility skills, as well as the ability to gather from any gathering point in the game. I will, in fact, be maintaining a backup team of 5 survivalists so that I can gather materials for money. Because, frankly, I don't want to waste skill points on my fighters on gathering. What I'm asking for potential volunteers for is a battle survivalist, with the ability to hit really hard with arrows, including some multi-hit attacks, and the rather broken ability to manipulate the action order in a turn. They're well suited in essentially any party. Third, we have the Protector. Willing to sacrifice themselves to save their allies, they're invaluable when in the dungeon. Using their shields, they can reduce the damage taken either by a row or by the entire party. They also have the ability to completely negate or even absorb elemental damage on a party-wide basis. Whoever wants this role is likely to be one of the key members of the party that I can't foresee removing for essentially any reason. Fourth, the Dark Hunter. Hunters who use whips or swords to inflict ailments on opponents and turn the tide of battles. This one will be a specialization, much like the Landsknecht. There are just not really enough skill points to distribute around. Swords give us access to more status effects, like paralysis or sleep, whereas whips in general focus on binds, and binds are actually rather important in this game. Either of these are a good choice, and I might end up having one of both one day. They are a bit on the fragile side, however. A sword hunter can mitigate that some with their drain skill, but where TP is at a premium, they can get expensive and fast. Fifth, we have the Medic. Unskilled in battle, their healing arts allow experienced warriors to survive difficult battles. Or rather, the game claims they are unskilled in battle. The truth is more complicated than that. On one hand, they are the owners of one of the most broken defensive skills in the game. They also actually do have damage dealing skills in their skill tree, and they can actually hit really hard. But a battle medic is going to be a late game thing, if at all. On the other hand, this is the only game in the series really that's truly viable in. In general, medics pack your standard assortment of heals, revives, and status repair. And again, the most broken defensive skill in the game. There will be a medic in this team, this is non-negotiable. Sixth, there is the Alchemist. Those who study the control of nature, the power of fire, ice, and lightning is at their command. Admittedly, they are very squishy, but they're quite powerful in the right hands, and to be blunt, the best source of elemental damage that we have. If we want to use one branch of the Landsknecht abilities, in fact, this or a bard are flat out necessary. But basically, these guys are how we're going to get around the fact that some beasties resist physical damage. They also have a poison skill tree. The thing with the poison skill tree is it falls off very fast because poison damage is bugged, but still you'll likely see me using the poison skills in the early game, because it's rather broken early game in fact. But again, it falls off. And in general, alchemists can be seen to fall out as we get later and later in the game. I like them. Seventh are the bards, known as the Troubadours in American version. Lively dancers and singers who inspire the party, their support is always welcome in combat. These are actually one of my favorite classes in the game because I just love bards in general for the sort of jack-of-all-trades, master-of-none thing. Bards also have... You're gonna hear this a lot. Bards have some of the most broken skills in the game. A lot of classes. Not a lot of classes, but several classes have some of the most broken skills in the game. In this case, the broken skill is infinite sustainability if I can find a weak enemy to defend against. But they specialize in buffing the party both physically and elementally, debuffing the enemy elementally, as well as some other traits. I like having bards on hand. Eighth, we have the Samurai. In America, it's known as the Ronin. These masters of combat consider honorable death a virtue, so their defense is poor. These guys are basically boss busters. They are also unlocked around the middle of the game, so if you submit one of these, don't expect to see it for a while. Ronins essentially function by using a stance system, one for attack, one for a bit more defense, and one for more speed. With the right setup and the attack stance, Ronins can be the best single target damage dealer in the game. The issue with them is they have very little going for them in a multi-target setup. So if we're doing general traversing, they could be read as essentially a waste of a party slot. Ninth, and absolutely not least, we have the Hexcaster, Hexer in America. Shrouded in mystery, only their bells reveal their true power. Hexcasters take the status abilities of the Dark Hunter and turn them up to 11, as well as the ability to directly alter their foes' stats with attack and defense debuffs. They're also unlocked a solid strata after the Samurai. These guys are especially good at the debuffing game, but admittedly in this game, that's about all they really have going for them. They're a lot more powerful in the second Etrian Odyssey game, and if they can be considered to be poor in any of the games, it's this one. That said, there's still enough I can do with them that I will happily use one. And that is all the options. So again, to give some instructions, I want you to pick a class, bearing in mind that 2 of the classes are unavailable for about half the game. Pick a portrait, just use A, B, C, or D. Give me a name of 8 characters or less. And a bit of backstory. Why are you in Etria? I will be taking up a party slot for myself a lot of the time because the Guildmaster likes to adventure too. But I have a vast enough character stable that I can basically take whatever role I feel is not being fulfilled. As for when this will start, I'm truthfully not entirely sure, but you'll have at least a few weeks to submit. Happy exploring, and I hope to see you joining me in the Yggdrasil Labyrinth. Bye!